welcome back to the channel of Ecoholics. And here I am again in front of you all to discuss one more question from the economics optional paper from year 2022. Alright, so I'm going to discuss question number 4, part C in this video. So, because it's part C, it is of 20 marks. So, it is going to be lengthy. You have to take again good care of introduction as well as conclusion, because in the long mark answers the introduction and conclusion becomes more important. So let's see what is this question asking us. So the question is talking about what will be the shape of aggregate supply curve in the classical and Keynesian models. So give detailed explanation. Now you would know that in classicals aggregate supply curve is vertical, whereas in Keynesians when we are very far away from full employment it's horizontal, then it becomes upward sloping, and there also it becomes the vertical if we reach full employment level. So you have to give detailed explanation. Now when the word detailed comes, it means you have to talk the reasons about why is the AS taking particular shapes in both of the theories. So let's see how we are going to begin with this answer. So the first thing you have to be very careful is that you pick one theory at one time. Do not mix the shape of AS in classicals and Keynesians together. If you are starting with classicals, first start with that. If you are starting with Keynesians, first complete that and then come to the other one. So let me start with classicals first. So what happens in classicals? Why is the AS curve vertical in that? So it's because of the assumptions. So in classical, there is one very important assumption of perfect information, that workers and employers have perfect information of wages and the prices. Wages की perfect information is still very feasible, but the price perfect information which is available to workers is very important in this model. So what happens is the classicals also had a belief that economy will always work at full employment level, and market, if market is set free, so if we have a market economy, the full employment level can be attained always. Whenever there will be shocks in the economy which will bring deviation in the economy from the full employment level, the market, because of the self-correcting mechanism of the market economy, we will move back to the full employment level. So there would never be a movement that the economy is going to be below full employment. Above full employment also it cannot go, not even in the temporary terms. So market, if left to itself, can achieve full employment even without the intervention of government. So here we follow the concept of laissez-faire. Alright, now how does these assumptions contribute to the shape of aggregate supply curve? Now what's happened is, because we have an assumption of perfect information, because of this reason, the labor demand and labor supply are always a function of real wages. They are always a function of real wages because both of the parties involved here knows about the actual wages and actual prices. So if there comes a change in wage or change in price, that will lead to exact same change in the other variable. So if there comes a change in wage, there would come a change in price, and if there is a change in price, that will initiate an exact change in wage, so that the real wage always remains same. It will always remain same. Now if real wage is remaining same, the labor demand and labor supply would be getting us the same equilibrium point. Where do we get equilibrium in the labor market? We get equilibrium wherever the labor demand and labor supply are equal. Now because the real wage is not changing, these two quantities won't be changing. Like they will shift, but in real terms, they won't change. And hence, as a reason, the equilibrium employment in the country won't change, in the economy won't change. So if N, which is the employment, won't change, the output in the economy cannot change. So because we have production function here, we have employment, we have output, the level of employment gives us the level of output in the economy. Now because N is same, the Y would also be same. So whatever change is coming either in wages or in prices, so or any other reason, whichever reason is shifting the labor demand or labor supply curve, it initiates change in the other remaining curve as well. So if there is any factor bringing a change in labor demand curve, that will be conveyed to the workers, and as a result workers would also shift their labor supply. As a result, there would be finally no change in real terms in the labor market. As a reason, no change in labor market, so no change in the output, and the output is always remain constant. So when we are drawing the aggregate supply curve, what do we have on the axis? Here we have our output, here we have prices. So now no matter what are your prices, the output is same. So I told you that even if there comes a change in prices, there won't be no change in employment and hence no change in output. That's why the AS curve is vertical. So you can also show the following things which I've told you, the change in wages and change in prices, by making use of labor demand and labor supply curves. So here is this your labor supply curve, here is this your labor demand curve. You are at this equilibrium. Now let's say due to increase in prices, the labor demand will increase. So due to increase in labor demand, why there is an increase in labor demand? Because the increase in prices led to the fall in real wages. Now when real wages fall, labor demand will increase, but labor supply will fall. So labor supply is going to shift at this point also. Okay. The labor supply is also going to decrease. So this is my new labor supply. And hence we are at the same equilibrium of employment. Here this line is going a little diverted, but you understand, right? That's why the employment will always be maintained at the full employment level. As a result, we are always achieving the full employment level of output as well, and hence we have a vertical aggregate supply curve in classicals. Now let's come to the case of Keynesians. Now in Keynesians, the another set of assumptions are that prices are not highly flexible. So although there are three modifications of Keynesian model, in first modification we say that prices are rigid, they are going to be sticky and not going to change. In another we still assume that they are flexible. So while making the shape of AS for Keynesians, please make the shape of AS according to all the three modifications or both of them. So what are the three modifications? In one, we say that prices are rigid. In second, we say prices are flexible but wages are rigid. In third, we say prices and wages both are flexible. So in second and third, AS would always be upward sloping. So first AS shape will be drawn to this first scenario and then according to these two. Now what happens is, whatever happened in classicals, the opposite would happen here. So if there comes a change in price, that will not be known to the workers, not known to workers. They do not know. Why they do not know? Because according to Keynesians, workers' labor supply decision depends on expected price level as they are not aware of the actual prices. Whereas labor demand is a function of real wage rate. So they know the real prices as well. So I'm talking, in this case, I'm talking about the upward sloping curve. Please take care. So what happens is, if there comes a change in price, the labor demand would change, and now this change in labor demand would change wage, but the change in wage and change in price won't match. Now this change in wage would be taken, this would be known by the labor suppliers, but this change in price is not known to them. So as a result of change in wage only, the labor supply is going to change. And suppose, for example, there was an increase in price. Now due to increase in price, labor demand would increase. Now the increase in labor demand at the same price and everything, because we need to give higher wages to incentivize people to work for more for us, so we increase wages by a little. Now this increase in prices is not known to workers, but the increase in wages is known to them. They will feel that they are getting a real increase in wages, and hence as a result they would increase labor supply. So what is happening is, for a while being, due to increase in prices, there is an increase in output. In the long term, they would get to know about this increase in price and they would shift their labor supply back. So again, we will be coming to the point, but the thing is that for a temporary thing, the output would increase with the increase in price, and hence that's why the AS curve would be upward sloping, because for increasing prices, the output is going to increase. Now, in the first case where prices are rigid, they are not going to change at all, let's say. So, in that case, what happens is, if the prices are not changing at all, Keynesian is a demand determined model. So, if there is a higher aggregate demand, Keynesian says that output levels can be increased according to demand. So, whatever demand is being created in the economy, that has to be justified, or that has to be satisfied with the increasing output. So now the prices are rigid. The increase in aggregate demand is not going to put an upward pressure over the prices. So without even an increase in prices, the output can change. Now, why does the increasing aggregate demand would ever put an upward pressure on prices? The reason is very simple, because you have limited resources. So when you want to produce more, the cost of getting those resources will increase. So when you have to produce more, the prices naturally go up. But here the prices are rigid, they are not going to change. So even with increase in aggregate demand, the prices are not increasing. The output can be increased without bringing an increase in prices. This situation can happen if and only if the economy is very far away from the full employment level. So there are a lot of idle resources available in the economy that can be put to use while producing for the increased aggregate demand. So this situation can happen if and only if the economy is very far away from the full employment level. So as a result, the aggregate supply curve is going to be horizontal. Why it's going to be horizontal? Because at the ongoing price level, you can produce any amount of output according to the demand being generated. All right. So this is over here. This is the shape of aggregate supply curve when prices are rigid. So in Keynesian, how will you make the shape of AS curve? You would be bringing all the three shapes here. So when the economy is far away from full employment level, AS is horizontal. Then when the economy starts progressing, the AS will become vertical. As soon as the economy will achieve full employment, it will be near to full employment, the AS would become vertical also. So this is the shape of AS under Keynesian. So here I put output and here I put prices. So I hope you will find this answer useful. Please like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments below that how do you find this video. Was it helpful for you? Thank you so much.